Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Afia Sports Banter Box, the last edition of the Afia Sports Banter Box in the month of May, in the year of our Lord 2026. It's great to be here right now. 28th of May is the day, and the year is 2026, and we are here to discuss things. Most league football seasons have ended. Some of them are winding up, and there's so much to discuss, so much to talk about in the world of sports. But it's great to be here one more time on this wonderful evening. I hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. It's going to be a great one indeed. I am your man, CCM Echebe, also known as CC the Rabbi, bringing you fresh banter, uncensored. Well, okay, scratch that. Well, it's censored, but you know what I mean. Banter like never before in the home of banter on the Afia Sports Banter Box. And I have guests here tonight, this evening rather, and these two people are going to slug it out concerning two matters on the Afia Sports Banter Box. As a reminder, Afia Sports Banter Box is part of the Afia Sports franchise that you can always get on Afia TV. The frequencies are still the same, channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome once again, guys. I have here one of the regulars. I said that she's on probation, and I think that probation is still, it's hanging, but by Saturday, which is next tomorrow, and then let's say maybe a day after, we will know whether that probation will be lifted finally, unlike a colleague of hers who still has another thing hanging over him. I'm referring to none other than the sports goddess on probation, Queen Chioma Chikeze. She's right here in the red corner. How you doing?
I won't say much. I'm fine. I'm good. Saturday, we have to just, it's just 2 days away. And the whole world will know that I'm actually the sports goddess.
Okay, so we're going to just test your goddesshood. If there's any such word, no problem. So then now, why complain when you can wait? I'm talking about waiting. Somebody who's going to have to wait for, I don't know how long he's going to have to wait. But last year, he was a champion. At least one of the sons of the champions of England, one of the most successful sides, actually the most successful side, joint most successful side in English football history, referring to the 20-time title holders in the first divisions to Premier League, Liverpool Football Club, who they didn't really go down with a whimper like Remo Stars did in the NPFL, but at least they did a bit better, but they should have done much better than that. I'm referring to somebody who refers to himself, I refer to him as Liverpool's first son, self-acclaimed. Yes, I'll add that one in. His name is Bond, Gerald Bond. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me here. So with all the explanation about Liverpool had a terrible season, all the same. But let me just put that in the longest non-reigning English PL champions are now Manchester United, 13 years and counting. Let that be on record.
That had to come in right now because we will have to start discussing and asking questions. And I can see that there are two Man U fans that are staring at me. Actually, three Man U fans staring at me.
But at least now, I am certain that wait will not be up to 30 years. Or 26?
Madam.
Or 22?
Our discussion is not Man U. I'm not going to give you guys that. I'm not going to... I'm inconsistent. Okay. We're going to start the... Okay, like I said, this is the Afia Sports Banter Box. They're already ready. We have to ride them up. Now we know that they are smelling blood and gore, are ready to lunge at each other and make sure that somebody leaves here from this cage in one piece while the other is broken. Well, we'll see about that. Okay, getting to serious matters, the first topic in the Afia Sports Banter Box today has to do with the squad lists that have been released and are being released for the FIFA World Cup. A reminder, the Mundial FIFA World Cup taking place in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico will be kicking off on the 11th of June. And many teams, many squads are ready to show up. Nigeria, sorry, I'm not talking to you. Just step aside, Super Eagles. When the time comes, we'll have that discussion concerning you. But there are many squad lists that have come out, and some people are saying, okay, good, we have some players who deserve to be in the World Cup squads, but there are some very, very surprising omissions. And we want to find out whether those World Cup omissions are fair or unfair. Ranging from the Brazilian squad, that is Seleção, down to the Three Lions, that's the English national team squad. You can even come down home to Africa. You can even talk about the Moroccan national team if you want. You can talk about, that's the Atlas Lions. You can also talk about the elephants. I won't say people's elephants. Sorry, Imba, I'm not talking about you. The elephants of Côte d'Ivoire. You can talk about different World Cup lists, but we'll look at a few today because of the time that we're permitted, and we'll see how much time can afford us to discuss. Which of the players, the notable absentees, are unfair absentees? We're going to talk about that in a bit, and I'm going to kick it off right now. First of all, let's look at the World Cup squad list that we have, just as a sample. There are other lists that are coming out, but these are the samples that we're going to look at and analyze and see. Then we're going to find out which of the notable absentees are unfair absentees. That is the discussion for the first topic in the banter box. So MCR, please do us the honors of showing us that list. There's a list that we want to see, and then we're going to look at that list together and find out. First of all, we'll look at the French national side. The French national side, if you look at the list there, we have the goalkeeping department. Mike Magnan is there, Bryce Simba, and then Roger Risser is there. Robin Risser, I beg your pardon. Then the defenders, Lucas Digne, Malo Gusto, Lucas Hernandez and Theo Hernandez, the brothers. Then Ibrahima Konate, Jules Kounde, William Saliba, Dayot Upamecano, or Upamecano, if you choose to call him that. That's good for you. Then Maxence Lacroix. And then we also see in the midfield, N'Golo Kante, no disputes there. Manu Kone, Adrian Rabiot, Aurelien Tchouameni, and then Warren Zaire-Emery. And then the attackers, we have Magnes Akluche, then Brady Bacola, Ryan Cherky, Ousmane Dembele, and then we also have Desiree Doué, Jean-Philippe Mateta, Kylian Mbappe, Michael Olise, and Marcus Thuram. That is the French national team that have been called up. Then we go to Brazil, the Seleção. The Seleção list we have in goalkeeping department. Please, let's see the Seleção list. We have Alisson, Ederson, Weverton, enough sons and tons there in the goalkeeping departments. Then we have defenders, Alexandro, Gleison Bremer, Danilo, Douglas Santos, Gabriel Magalhães. Then we have Ibanez, Leo Pereira, Marquinhos, and then Wesley. Then in midfield, we have Casemiro, Bruno Guimaraes, then Fabinho, Lucas Paqueta, and Danilo Santos. And then the attackers, we have Endrick, Gabriel Martinelli, Igor Thiago, Luis Enrique, Matheus Cunha, Neymar Jr., then Rafinha, and Vinicius Jr., and then Ryan. Those are the players we have in the Brazilian national side, Seleção. Then from Croatia, we'll look at Croatia and find out, are there any absentees in Croatia? First of all, we look in the goalkeeping department for Croatia. Please, yes, thank you. Pull them up. We have Dominik Livakovic, then Dominik Kotarski, and Ivor Pandur. And then for defenders, Josko Vardio, Duje Kaletakar, yes. Then Josip Sutalo, Josip Stanisic, Marin Pongracic, then Martin Ehrlich, and then Luka Vuskovic, I beg your pardon. Then in midfield, what is a Croatian midfield, age notwithstanding, if you don't have the maestro himself, Luka Modric, who is the captain, the legendary Luka Modric, then Mateo Kovacic, Mario Pasalic, Nikola Vlasic, Luka Sukic, Martin Baturina, then Christian Jakic, Petar Sukic, then Nikola Modro, Anthony Fruk. So a lot of itches there. Maybe we're scratching minus one or two that were called there. And then in the attacking department, we have Ivan Perisic, Andrej Kramaric, Ante Budimer, Marko Pasalic, then Petar Musa, and Igor Matanovic. Then the Egyptian national side, we're just going to look at these sides quickly, and then we're going to run through. We'll debate on this. The Egyptian national side, we have there Mohamed in the goalkeeping department. We have Mohamed El Shanawi, then Mustafa Shober, then El Mahoy Soliman, and Mohamed Allah, I beg your pardon. Then defenders, we have Mohamed Hani, Tarek Allah, and then Hamdi Fati, Rami Rabia, and then Yasser Ibrahim, Hussam Abdel Maguid, then Mohamed Abdel Monem, Ahmed Fatou, and then Karim Hafez. In midfield, we have Marwan Atia, Mohannad Lashin, Nabil Emad Dunga, Mahmoud Saber, Ahmed Sayed Zizo, Mahmoud Trezeguet, Imam Ashur, Mustafa Ziko, Ibrahim Adel, Haitham Hassan, and the legendary Mohamed Salah. Then in attack, we have Omar Mamouche, Atay Ba Abdullah, and Hamza Abdel Karim. Then after leaving the Pharaohs, we go to the O Seleção. You have Seleção of Brazil, and you have the O Seleção of Portugal, the Portuguese national side. We have here Diogo Costa. In goalkeeping department, Diogo Costa, Jose Sá, Rui Silva, Ricardo Velho rather. Then in defense, you have Diego Dalot and Mateus Nunes, Nelson Semedo, João Cancelo, then Nuno Mendes, Gonçalo Inácio, Renato Veiga, Ruben Dias, Thomas Araujo. And then in midfield, we have Ruben Neves, Samuel Costa, João Neves, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva. And then in attack, we have João Felix, Trinchão, I beg your pardon. Then Francisco Conceição, Pedro Neto, Rafael Leao, Gonçalo Guedes, Gonçalo Ramos, and the legendary Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. That's in attack. Then Senegal, we really need to take a few. We'll just take two more. Senegal. We look at Senegal, the goalkeeping department, Edouard Mendy, Mory Diaw, Yevan Diouf. And then we have the defense, Crepin Diatta, Antoine Mendy, Kalidou Koulibaly, the man himself, El Hadji Malik Diouf, Mamadou Sarr, Moussa Niakate, Mustafa Mbo, Abdoulaye Seck, Ismail Jacobs, Ile Kamara. Then in midfield, you have Idrissa Gana Gueye, Papa Gueye, Lamine Kamara, I beg your pardon, Habib Diarra, Pathé Ciss, Pape Matassa, and Mbara Sapoko Ndiaye. And in attack, we have the legendary Sadio Mane, Ismail Assar, Iliman Ndiaye, Asani Diao, Ibrahim Mbaye, Nicholas Jackson. Then we have Bamba Dieng and Sheriff Ndiaye. We're going to take just two more lists because of time, and that's Die Mannschaft, the German national side. We'll look at the German national side and look at Oliver Baumann in goalkeeping department. You have Oliver Baumann. We have Manuel Neuer, the legendary evergreen Manuel Neuer. Then we have Alexander Nubel. And in defense, we have Valdemar Anton and then Nathaniel Brown, David Ram, Antonio Rudiger, then Nico Schlotterbeck, I beg your pardon, Jonathan Tah, then Malik Thiaw. And in midfield, we have Pascal Gross, Joshua Kimmich, Felix Mecha, then Alexander Pavlovich, Angelo Stiller, Nadim Amiri, and then Leon Goretzka. And in attack, we have Arsenal's Kai Havertz, then Leonard Carl, I beg your pardon, of Bayern Munich, then Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz, Maximilian Baer, and then Jamie Llewellyn, and then Leroy Sané, Denis Undav, and then Nick Voltamade. We're going to take one more list, and that has to be the Three Lions. That's all we can take for now. The Three Lions of England, the goalkeeping department, we have Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson, James Trafford. Then we have defense, Reece James, then Tino Livramento, Nico O'Reilly, Jed Spence, Ezri Konsa, Mark Gahey, John Stones, Jarrell Kwanzaa, and Dan Burn. Then in midfield, we have Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, Jordan Henderson, Kobe Mainu, Jude Bellingham, Morgan Rogers, Eberechi Eze. And then in attack, we have Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Gordon, Ivan Toney, Harry Kane, and Ollie Watkins. You know, because of time, we can't really look at some of the other teams like Norway, the Norwegian side. We can't really look at Morocco, Spain, USA, Netherlands. There are too many here. But as we've called out the ones we can call out, there are other names that could come to mind from those lists that are there. Like, Spain has some controversy that's attached to it because of the Real Madrid omission, amongst other things. But let's start from there. I don't know, do we do tumbom right now before? Okay, MC, you can project that one there. I won't really call it out because of time. But let's start and let's set the ball rolling. What is the issue with this list? Who are the people that you feel are unfairly exempted from this list? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many to fly their flags, their country's colors in the World Cup, and do something there. Stand up and get counted, but you have to be present to stand up and get counted. I think I'm going to start with Bond on this one. Bond, what's your take? You've scrutinized some of these lists, these squads. I know that you have some favorite horses in the race, some of whom have been hamstrung. They're not there in the race anymore, and you're wondering what's going on. But objectively, which omissions from any of these lists, any or all of these lists, are glaring and why?
I will say from a few. Let's say Brazil national team.
Okay.
And, I'll take it back to right from back 20. I think that's exactly 20 years ago, 2006 World Cup. After Ronaldo retired, the striking department of Brazil has not been settled. There is no one that you say has held it
To lead the line.
for 2-3 years or something. They have fantastic wingers. We have Neymar, you have Hulk, and some other ones, and currently Rafinha. But the striking department has been something that has been lacking, and it just followed the trend of Firmino not getting call-ups and all to Joao Pedro being omitted. Not being a Chelsea fan, quite, but I felt that he deserved to be there.
Joao
Apart from-
Pedro.
Joao Pedro. Yeah, he deserved to be there. Apart from Igor Thiago, I don't think there's any other Brazilian who scored more goals in the EPL more than him. And when you look at that front line, you just feel that a player of his stature who can roam around, still lead from the front, is supposed to be there. But at the end of the day, the coach has not an easy job to make. They have to meet. And so when you say it's fair, or it's not fair that this person is meeting, I don't know. I don't know if it's the word, but there are tough decisions to make. So these coaches have to bounce on their table. So he got omitted, and I was not impressed with that. I thought he was going to be part of it.
Okay, so you're saying that Ancelotti dropped the ball big time on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. Any other
Then on that
omissions?
Brazil team, though, I don't know many people who will agree with it, but they needed a battling ram in that midfield. I see Fabinho there. I was thinking Joel Linton was going to be there. That's somebody I see outside the box that people don't usually talk about. But he's having a fantastic career at Newcastle, having been converted from a striker who was failing to a central midfielder and has been a fantastic one. That one aside. Then coming to England national team, I felt Palmer could have been there, though judging by the season that Chelsea have had, the midfielders, I'm not that surprised, but I felt that he had this X factor. He's one of the ones that will bring the X factor into the team. But Tuchel has been saying it over time that the number of people that will be able to play the number 10 position are too many in England. When then you start counting them, I won't go into that. So, but him missing out, I was surprised. I thought he was going to make it. Then Harry Maguire, with the season he had also, I expected him to be there to be one of the leaders in the defense and all. I've seen him more of a leader than John Stones, and that's the only old horse that I'm seeing in that distance. I wonder if he really gets played. But somebody like Jarrell Kwanzaa, he's a young prospect, and Spence, I don't know how many minutes they're going to get at the World Cup. But all the same. But Maguire then went ahead to go after being called by the coach. He went ahead to conduct an interview or make a post about being omitted. That's unprofessional. That was
basically burnt the bridges.
Yeah. That was messed up on his own side. So, which other one? There's one more that I feel should have made.
Are you going to Spain or are you going to, I don't know, Norway?
No. Maybe I'll still remember it, but that's it for now.
Okay, so I'll still come back to the issue to scrutinize, maybe give an alternate view and then see if you can respond to that. But let me hear Queen. Queen, you've looked at these lists and I don't also know if you have a favorite horse in the race, but as objectively as possible, as you can be, which glaring absentees do you want to talk about and why?
Okay, for me, I there are quite a number of persons, and I'll start with England. The only issue I have with England as absentees is Harry Maguire.
Okay.
Take away the affiliation of Manchester United. You look at the defense and the players that have been called up. No disrespect to whatever they have done. But looking at this season in particular, between John Stones and Harry Maguire, you can clearly see that you don't bring them close. I understand John Stones, but Harry Maguire, there was a time he had some turbulence and obo. He came back and he's been strong for Manchester United. And having Harry Maguire, and even when Harry Maguire was having issues at Manchester United, he was flying for England. Whenever he wore that England jersey, it was looking like there were two versions of Harry Maguire. The England Harry Maguire and the Manchester United Harry Maguire. Even United fans were like, why can't we have this version of Harry Maguire in the Manchester United shirt? And after all of the hard work and all, you feel like calling him was just enough to, just put it off out there and let it just slide. For me, I think that was it. For Cole Palmer, no disrespect. I think a lot of people are saying he should have been there and all. No. You not just about where Chelsea finished. Cole Palmer himself started well from the beginning of the season, but towards the middle and end part of the season, his games were drastically dropping, especially after he returned from the injury. And probably the managerial sagas with the club didn't sit well with him psychologically, and that affected his game. I don't think for a World Cup squad and the kind of players that are in England in that position. I mean, then going to another country that is throwing up controversy is the Brazilian national team with Joao Pedro. I don't have an issue with that also because, Joao Pedro, he's still quite young. See, the only people I can make a fuse for are players who in the next World Cup might not be age-wise. You might not bank on them to deliver results. But if you are at your 22, 20, in the next World Cup should be your peak. You should be should I call it the scenario of all eyes? You should be the talking point. You don't go to this World Cup and you just sit on the bench and just move passively and all. That will even be better. Imagine Joao Pedro going to the World Cup, the next edition, and the whole Brazil is waiting and looking and depending on Joao Pedro to deliver results based on what he has done over time. I think that would have been better than going to sit in the shadows of I understand. Personally, I feel like this guy cracks under pressure. I've seen it with the club side. Once he's on big teams, the pressure is high, the big teams are coming.
Pedro
Yes, he often disappears. Personally, I had preferred an Estavao going into the World Cup with Brazil. I don't know, but that's just me, but that's it. And which other team? Let me see. Let me check. There's another team that I'm actually looking at for FIFA.
Do you have anything to say about, we didn't mention Spain, but do you have anything to say about Spain?
Yes. I have an issue with not having one single Real Madrid player in that squad.
Why would you have an issue with that?
Who would have been?
Now, see, I know that a lot of people are saying, they are looking at it from the angle of Real Madrid, Barcelona thing, and no, I don't want to look at it from that angle. I want to look at it from what Spain did at the Euros that they won and the role that Cavaya played in that squad. I think there are things we do and you just be like, okay, for the honors. And the fact that some of these players might leave the national team after this World Cup because of their age, it's also good you give them that honors of saying, okay, probably this could be your last World Cup. They might not be your starters, but let them have that, come in with that leadership role because definitely, what's his name, have that ability. For me, I think Cavaya was just what rose my eyebrow for the Spanish national team. Else, they have a good squad. France, I'm thinking, is it? I don't know. See, I don't know if it's for my likeness, but I think Camavinga missing out. I don't know what Didier Deschamps is actually, but let's see what happens with the France national team. The thing is, they have huge depth. It might be difficult, to say who they want to pick and who they don't want to pick and all, but I felt like Camavinga should have been in that squad. I don't know, but
okay, you get to respond to that before I throw the questions I want to throw to both of you. Respond to her list, to her selections. You can also respond to his selections. But I want to throw some questions because I have a very, let me say, interesting view concerning one or two things. Yeah.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to disagree with her about Cavaya and all. Sometimes, if I'm going to go by your logic, I would say they should take Cavaya into their coaching crew. If it's about just attending to the World Cup because of what you did, that's one World Cup space. And for you to do that, you have to count on somebody who, if the first 11 is not playing, he can be the person that will be brought on. But I don't see him in that picture. And with how injury has interrupted his last season at Real Madrid, unless they had somebody who you will say like the Garcia that plays in front, that had an outside chance, more like Ibokavaya, I don't agree with that part. There are countries whereby for what you have done for the national team, they take you along. They can accommodate that because expectations with different countries are different. Take Zeko. He's playing well in the German Division 2 championship, more like, and they got promoted and all. And he's heading to this World Cup quite all right. You can do that. You cannot do that for a top footballing nation. Yeah, maybe in a goalkeeping department, but in players department, no, you cannot do that. Then when you talk about Pedro bending to this thing, I don't really agree with that. He's somebody who has been performing well for Brighton.
Chelsea.
Let me know. With Brighton, he now came for the top big six that signed players up front. He's one of the best that is performing. When you count Ekitike, you count Sesko, you count Gyökeres, you will put him top of that. I think the only person that I should rate above him he's out of all those new buys that's in their first season in a new club. Joao Pedro sits above them all.
First season in the new club, not first season in England.
No, not first season.
Just for clarity,
top club, one of the top clubs in England. He's top of the list on the new buys. Nobody's talking about how much he was. He cost money. He didn't come cheap. Nobody's talking about how much Chelsea spent on him. They're talking about other areas, other players. Is he going to work? Gyökeres, even up to now, it's being discussed whether is it worth it that he's still playing more minutes at Arsenal? Why Kai Havertz is back? It's still a discussion, but it's not that. I just remembered one I saw now. Another thing is like Alexander Isak. It's just his name that's taking him to this World Cup.
Exactly.
Good.
Being a Liverpool fan, it's hard for me to say that, but I try being central. I'm a football fan first before a Liverpool fan.
Fact, yeah.
He is not.
I actually didn't remember him. I don't even know why he was in like. What are you?
Anyway,
Anyways,
okay.
I like what Netherlands did with Jeremy Frimpong. Yes, I like that. You don't just come because you're playing for a big team, so we should just slot you into the World Cup squad.
You look for, first of all, you talk about fit. When I say fit, I don't mean that would have sounded very politically incorrect, but we just look for someone who fits into the system, the manager, because there are two kinds of managers.
Exactly.
There are managers who are system-based and managers who are personnel-based. So a manager that's personnel-based is one that sees the talents that he has at his disposal and then begins to tweak the system to accommodate them around their strengths. But managers who are system-based have a system that is rigid, then they get players and shoehorn them into that system if they are not already a fit.
Which is why I agree with excluding Joao Pedro. Because of Ancelotti's system of play. Now, another thing you understand is that this guy is playing among his peers. He's playing at Chelsea. He does not really have so much competition in that department. And for a coach like Ancelotti, who is Delap? Please, don't spoil this discussion.
Can we say something reasonable?
Ancelotti is a manager that he loves to play with people he is certain that, okay, when I put you in there,
you will deliver. You have the room to express yourself. You can think for yourself. Just, this is your objective. Win me this game. How you
he has his system planned out. He has his, and I feel like this guy, Joao Pedro, is not yet ripe to play the Ancelotti system. That's just how I see it. Not that he's not a fantastic player. Not that he didn't do it this season.
But the thing with sports and these World Cups, it comes every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be a one-time thing.
That's why he needs to work.
Forget the part whereby he's still young. Next World Cup, it might be a one-time thing, and that's it. Somebody like Wissa now. No World Cup ever. It is all over. There's no other chance. What about we you're underrating DR Congo for the next one?
Yeah. It's not happening again.
It's not happening
let's tell
again.
ourselves the
He has
truth.
missed that
And this is not from a Nigerian perspective, for obvious reasons. It's the truth. It's not likely at all that DR Congo will be in the World Cup. But let me just chip this in. Okay, let's analyze one or two of these things, and throw back to you because of time. We need to get to the next point. If you're looking at the case of João Pedro, because that seems to be the headliner.
Yeah.
Let's just touch one or two people right now. João Pedro, I think he's suffering, and this is not me trying to, at the risk of accusing Don Carlo Ancelotti of bias, he's suffering from a case of being the best of a bad bunch. And I'm going to throw Cole Palmer into that discussion too, because Chelsea, based on their high standards this past season, were woeful. They were totally woeful. Finishing 10th in the Premier League for the second time in over 2 decades or more. Actually, since the Premier League's inception, to the best of my memory, Chelsea have not finished in 10th position or below 10th position. That's 10th or lower. This is only the second time.
Ago.
Yeah, only the second time.
2016, 2015, 2016. Yeah, 10th position.
Yes, that's what I'm saying now. That's the second time since the inception. Yeah. They did that. They finished 10th after winning it under Mourinho, had no European football, then won it the next season under Conte. So I know what I said. That's the second time they're finishing 10th. Or below 10th. So they don't have these kind of dismal seasons regularly, but this has been a very peculiar season, very competitive, but Chelsea kept dropping the ball big time. And one of their saving graces, which is even why they were still in the conversation, was João Pedro. Remember the time that Chelsea went 6 matches without picking a single point?
Yeah.
And then eventually their goal was scored without scoring any goal. The last win, but eventually they scored 1 goal in the last match, the one that they lost, actually lost 3-1. But the last win that they had was courtesy of a hat-trick at Villa Park by this same João Pedro. 4-1. So the point I'm trying to make is that this man, João Pedro, was the best of a bad bunch. But the good book, the Bible says it this way that's in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20. He that walks with the wise, he said, he that walks with the wise shall be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. Please, this is not me in any way saying that Chelsea players were fools this season. No, it's just an analogy. But he was the best of a bad bunch.
Indirect.
And that wasn't a shot fired. No.
Indirect shot fired.
But the point is, João Pedro was unfortunate enough to hang around the wrong crowd.
Exactly.
In terms of form and fitness. So I think that you can look at that and say, you know what, that's happened, it's happened. Hopefully Chelsea will do better, but the World Cup comes in 4 years. So let's just look at that. Then
hopefully he leaves Chelsea and he's at top level.
And besides, when you're looking at that list, the forward list, the attackers that are there, the different kinds of attackers there. You have wing forwards, you have SS, that is second strikers. Then you have orthodox nines. João Pedro doesn't particularly strike me as an orthodox nine. No. The only key orthodox nine in that list that I'm seeing there is actually Thiago. That's the orthodox nine. Patrin Ram. That is the Ram built in the mold of Ronaldo, Luis Nazario de Lima, that kind of striker. So probably the man, Ancelotti, took a risk and said, you know what, I can do without this. I don't need too much of this. I have other flair players and other forwards who can give me the goods, and even attacking midfielders. And getting into midfield, Joelinton, yes, big miss, I agree. That physicality was needed.
Yes.
But, looking at that midfield there, Fabinho is physical, but the others, Casemiro is old. He's always been physical, but he's lost yards of pace, and then also age is not on his side. Bruno Fernandes has never been somebody who leverages primarily on his physicality. It's his instinct and then his intelligence on the ball and off the ball. But at the end of the day, it's Ancelotti's cross to carry. But still, we can just assume that. Just one more absentee that we're going to look at. We're going to the 3 Lions. One more set of absentees. The 3 Lions, England national team. First of all, notably, you pointed out Harry Maguire. I don't even talk about Cole Palmer. If we're discussing João Pedro and then somewhat respectfully dismissing his case because of what I pointed out, I don't think we're going to give that kind of dignity to Cole Palmer.
Not at all.
No, fact. Cole Palmer did not have a good season. End of story. He didn't have a good season. So let's leave sentiments aside. He did not have a good season.
At all.
But let's just move on. Like, for instance, you're looking at... Diamond Shaft, I think they're okay for me. No, don't even discuss Phil Foden.
I thought you wanted to be like Gara.
I'll do no such.
Gary.
I wanted to say
You
something
wanted
right
to
now,
be
but I
that
remember
guy.
I'm live camera, so I won't say that. You don't go 28 games, or should I say, 28 games with neither a goal nor assist in a title race and deserve to be called up to the World Cup. You don't, as far as I'm concerned. So, Phil Foden, please, let's not even discuss Phil Foden. He's not a notable absentee. In fact, he's barely noticed for me, based on last season. You're looking at the defense, particularly. Yeah, Harry Maguire. What I would say about that is maybe Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, despite his struggles with Man U, and I think he was very, very underappreciated, and underrated. Man U was, during the time that he was being exposed, is because of the supporting cast that were useless around him.
Exactly.
So he was being exposed, doing more than necessary. And then he was scoring those own goals, putting himself in dangerous positions. But he's always been a very decent player, always.
Yes.
And that's something that Gareth Southgate understood.
True.
He knew him very well, so he was one of his favorites. He kept on believing in him when people kept writing him off. And eventually, his decision was justified because Harry Maguire came good. Because he's a confidence player. He was coming good for England, and he was coming good for Manchester United. But let's not forget that the person in the dugout of the Three Lions is not Gareth Southgate. It is the man himself, Thomas Tuchel, the German, who is like any typical German manager, methodical and machinist in his mentality. You want to have results. You want to have these results quickly. You don't want to take gambles. Harry Maguire, yes, Man U had a very, very good season, but he's not taking any passengers. Harry Maguire, for me, is anything but a passenger. But that was a big judgment call. He had to make it. And I mean, that's that. So I think he was looking at his centre backs, because Harry Maguire is a centre back. He can't do anything else to save his life, because that's what he does very well. The centre backs that you're having there, you're having Ezri Konsa of Aston Villa, who's done a very good job. We saw what happened with Aston Villa. They not only did they qualify for the Champions League, they also won the Europa League. You're looking at a McGahey, put aside one of those little howlers. He's a very, very solid, dependable centre back. Those are the key centre backs. Then if you talk about Joao Kwanzaa, since he moved from Liverpool, he's just been good. For me, if Harry Maguire had been there in place of Joao Kwanzaa, I would understand that. But who am I? I'm not the manager. I think that ship has sailed. So I think we'll just give me your final thoughts, because something is still missing. Give me your final thoughts in just 30 seconds apiece concerning this list. I think there's something still missing. And it doesn't have to do with the Real Madrid. We've mentioned that. I think you've done a good enough job. I think, okay. For me, not one single Los Blancos deserves to be on that list, because it was a collective failure. For a club of that stature, Real Madrid, as massive and mighty as Real Madrid are, not one player deserved to be called up to the World Cup from the Madrid hierarchy. Not one of them. And I mean, it is what it is. Apart from, I'm talking about the Spain angle now. I know there are some who escaped because they are indispensable for their clubs. You don't go to a World Cup without the Kylian Mbappe, who, by the way, who won a second consecutive Golden Boot in Spain, despite Madrid's travails and struggles. So he deserves to be there. Aurelien Tchouameni, whenever he's not punching Valverde out, allegedly, he's doing a good job, in the midfield. So fine, let's accept that. But the Spanish contingent there, they didn't cover themselves in glory. And clearly, the man, De La Fuente, saw this and said, I'm not doing this. I'm not carrying that drama to the squad. So I don't think, but just final thoughts, 30 seconds apiece, so we can move to the next story quickly. There's something missing, I know. Can you put your finger on that? There has to be something missing from these squads.
I don't know about what is missing, but what I can say is for every player who missed out or something, while we converse about it, who deserves or who doesn't deserve, I think the playing career of Mikel Arteta will tell us one thing. He's a Spaniard, and he managed to have how many caps?
He never had one, not one.
None. That's all I have to say.
That's it. So these things happen. Life is cruel sometimes. And Mikel Arteta was, whatever anybody wants to say, argue with your keeper, Mikel Arteta was an elite midfielder. Great. He was massive. He was actually, I would argue and say he was world class. But that's a topic for another day. But he was cursed, quote unquote, to be in the same era as a Xavi Hernandez, a Sergio Busquets, and an Iniesta.
Xabi Alonso,
Xabi Alonso.
Fabregas, Marco
Fabregas.
He was in the
Senna.
same generation as
Era.
those. So it was unfortunate for him. But I mean, come on, he wants to more than make up for it in his managerial career because he already had an established playing career. So these things happen. One of these days we'll talk about the best 11 of those who never represented their national sides.
Exactly.
We'll talk about one of these days. We'll talk about
that.
that. I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk about that. And Ateta will feature in that greatly, surely, because he has earned it. Okay. Queen, your final thoughts.
Well, I would just say that, for those of them that were not called up, it's like I said earlier on, apart from those whose age-wise are not looking likely that they will have this opportunity again. If you're in your 20s, I don't know why you should be having a fuse that you're not in the World Cup. You have lots of World Cups coming up before you. All you just have to do is pray to God to keep you alive, do your thing, put more work, and who knows, it might just be the star of the next World Cup. But it is what it is. Like you rightly said also, the managers are the ones who are managing these players. And the national team is not like club football where you have alternative. This is a once in 4 years thing. Is just go there. This is the tactics I'm going with. If I don't do this, this is the alternative. Who are the players who fit in within these things that I want to do? And that is it.
Okay, well spoken. So we'll be right back after this short timeout because we have one more issue to look at. It's really not much of an issue, but we choose to make it an issue. Just talk about that, for the sake of debate, referring to the Premier League Player of the Year saga. We'll be right back after this short timeout. Don't touch that dial. This is still the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. The frequencies are still fixed, locked, and loaded on channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome back, guys. We are going straight to, very, very briefly, the second topic, and that has to do with the Premier League. Yeah, the English Premier League has ended for the season 2025-2026. We've seen all sorts of things. We even know who's going to be in the next season's Premier League from the Championship because Hull City have been promoted from the Championship, having won the playoffs against Middlesbrough, who replaced Southampton after Spygate. That happened. So we have Coventry City, we have Ipswich, and then we have Hull City, the Tigers, back in the Premier League after a very, very long time. But that's not the issue we're discussing. There was an award that was handed out to a certain player who is the heartbeat of Manchester United this last season. Manchester United, after playing a grand total of 40 games in all competitions last season, had the man, his name Bruno Fernandes.
Did you have to put that
Let me finish. I have the mic. Honorable Commissioner, off your mic. I'm talking. So, don't mind me. So, Bruno Fernandes, he emerged as the Premier League Player of the season, being, of course, the best of a not so brilliant bunch. Because if you are going to check Man U based on their high standards, they should have done better with all the spare time that they had, having played only 40 games in all competitions, all seasons. Now, Bruno Fernandes emerged having the assist record in his pocket, 21 assists. That's a record he's broken in the Premier League, 21 assists. And of those assists, I don't want to break it down. I think Bond will do a good job in that, to poke one or two holes there. But the question is very, very simple. Does Bruno Fernandes deserve to be crowned as the Premier League Player of the Year in 2025-2026 season? Over to you guys. I'm going to start with the protagonist. Obviously, that will have to be Queen, who has an affiliation to the Red Devils. So let's see your devilish analysis now.
See, if not for hate, if not for envy, I don't know why we should be asking this question. Look at the Premier League season for 2025-2026. Who else? Who else should be who else is even in the mouth of almost every fan, whether you're a United fan or not, except you are an Arsenal or Liverpool fan? Who else will not agree that Bruno Fernandes outshined everybody? 38 match weeks. 38 match weeks. And just one player had 14 Man of the Match awards. 14. And left the other 19 teams to share the remaining how many? The remaining
22.
22.
26, actually. Sorry, 20,
Yeah, 22.
24.
24, yes. And the remaining 24 shared among the other 19 teams. How else do you want to look at it? You come to chances created, he's up there. You come to goal contribution, he is up there. And the most important, age-long record. In fact, a record kept for more than 2 decades. Kept by the Igwe himself. He came into the Premier League in a season where the team he played for was not even competing for the title. Imagine Bruno Fernandes. They were not even in the title contention. And yet, he managed to break that record.
Because of time, we know that there's demagoguery involved in this, but time, we're already running out of time. Just in 1 minute, just because that's as much time
for whatever
give us.
it was. Whenever
please.
we talk about these things now, I was almost thinking that it was lawn tennis that we were talking about. Because football is a team game. But it seems like this particular one, it seems like it was for one particular guy who was playing alone.
The Lone Ranger.
Because there was nothing he helped his team to achieve.
Really?
At the end of the season. Let me land. There is nothing he helped his team to achieve. I can argue for somebody who is somebody that the opposition fans hate. This is Gabriel. He performed at his own goal post. He performed at the other goal post.
Wow.
He was that impressive at both ends of the pitch. Rice was doing practically everything. Practically everything.
In the Premier League,
from
ahead of Bruno
from
Fernandes?
defending, from set piece, from
I get. You're a Liverpool fan. No, I can understand. I can understand.
So from every particular side that you see, Rice, he's performing. Even to being that motivation behind the team. I can remember one video clip.
That is not done yet. It's not done yet.
It's not done yet. It's not done yet.
They were in the title contention.
That is Bruno Fernandes.
Oh yeah.
That we all know.
Oh
You
yeah.
cannot argue that part.
Oh yeah. He's a crybaby.
So while teams are Chelsea can, even though they went trophyless, they can say they are world CWC champions. Chelsea, Arsenal will say their own. Man City will say with 2 trophies. Liverpool trophyless. Aston Villa 1. And then Manchester United are talking about an individual award and celebrating it.
Yes. Because
last time in 2020 that Kevin De Bruyne won it, there was no fanfare about this. They were just
they
disappointed
won the
about
league.
season. No, Liverpool won the
Okay,
league. They were
yes.
just disappointed they did not win the league. That nobody was making a fuss about it.
You know why
But
it's a fuse?
trophy to
Yes,
Manchester
you know why I'm going to
United.
answer
It
you.
will be a long time before they
Did
get
you
hands on
hear?
the trophy.
Did you hear?
It's
Did you
supposed
hear
to be
what?
a football club
Did
trophy?
you hear what? What's his name? Thierry Henry said about Bruno Fernandes himself.
What did he say?
He practically dictates every game he plays for. You cannot say he was not
to play
valuable
40 matches, which
at
was the
both ends of the side.
minimum.
Tell
Do you know
me.
how many teams in the Premiership that
Okay.
It
only
wasn't
play
his
40 games?
fault. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't down to him.
Honorable commissioners,
It wasn't
off your
down to
mics. Okay, fine. No,
You guys are pens. I know.
Well, I don't know who you guys
At least
are. but-
Thierry already recognizes
Can we off the mic?
when it
Thank
comes
you.
to assists.
All right, thank you very much, Queen. You know, all your vitriol and your bile, you can spray it when we get off the mics. But thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you very much, Queen.
Thank
so much
you for
We
having
appreciate
me.
you for being
Thank
here. Joel Bond, thank you very much for being here.
20 years and counting, no Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
Don't
no problem.
worry.
The banter continues.
600 years I wait.
The banter lives live and direct on Afia Sports Banter Box. Make sure you do this again. Thank you very much, everybody who's been part of the success story of this Afia Sports Banter Box. Those behind the camera, everybody who's doing that. Wheezy, thank you very much for what you do. In the MCR, we appreciate you greatly. Jonathan, thank you. And of course, I think, is it Jonathan? Yes, it's Jonathan. Let me just be on the safe side. Jonathan, thank you very much for being there. Rising, thank you very much for being there. Chamaka, thank you very much for being there. Oh, yeah, share this election. Then PVP, I almost said PVC. Get your PVC, by the way. PCR, thank you very much. Faith, you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And my trusty Lieutenant Emeka Madoka, the self-acclaimed priest of football. Thank you very much. Though your priesthood is on the line this weekend. We'll do this again tomorrow. And please make sure that you come out en masse. Those of you who are resident in Enugu, Rangers International are going on a trophy parade tomorrow. So make sure from 4 p.m. that we paint the city of Enugu red and white because the Flying Antelopes are in town, the 9-time champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League. Make sure you're part of that, the great celebration, because we are the champions of Nigeria and hopefully of Africa in the near future. Thank you very much, guys. We'll do this again tomorrow by 5 p.m. on the Afia Sports Preview Square. Till then, remain blessed. I'm Sisi the Rabbi. I'm signing out.